This is going to be Kitbash video recipe number 2 of G.I. Joe Classified Series number 156, G.I. Joe Classified Series Footloose. Okay, so let's immediately go to the action figure build. Oops, okay, so let's adjust the camera for a bit. Okay, so let's do a quick 360 view of the new action figure build. Okay, so this design is going to be based more on his Generation 1 look, or the O-ring version. Now this time it's going to be in G.I. Joe Classified Series scale, utilizing whatever is existing on the 156 build. Okay, making it into a G1 version. Alright, so it has to be a very distinct look with regards to the helmet and the available weapons platform that is on the action figure. So let's discuss all of those. Yeah. So one thing that I forgot every time I do a action figure video is to rotate the action figure, a quick 360 view of the basic action figure build before we discuss anything or any of the changes that I did to the action figure. Okay, so let's start with the weapons platforms. Okay, so rifle. G1 Footloose would have a really basic M16 rifle. So this figure should also have one in its basic configuration. Gun is the optic, so just a plain base rifle with a sling or elastic cordage sling. So with regards to how to make elastic cordage slings, I discussed it in another video, which is included in my G.I. Joe Classified Series or G.I. Joe related playlist. Okay, so we already discussed the plain Jane rifle. Now let's move on to the two weapons platform. Okay, the light anti-tank weapon, one in its extended version and the other which is stored on the backpack of the action figure. Okay, so while discussing the light anti-tank weapons, we're going to also discuss the configuration on the backpack. Okay, so these two accessories, backpack included, used to belong to a first Footloose action figure build that I made. Okay, so I made a base Recondo action figure into a Footloose action figure, utilizing those accessories and this head unit, and the helmet had that cover on it. Okay, so I need a Recondo on my action figure display, G.I. Joe Classified Series action figure display, so he's back to being Recondo. Okay, so back with the original headpiece, but I retain all of the previous gear just placed on the backpack. With regards to the jungle knife or the bolo, so I have to secure another one. Anyway, so base configuration, Recondo. Now going back to this, so this is going to be my official Footloose action figure. Okay, so extended version 1 and 2 comes from Marvel Legends, the Walgreens exclusive Retro Punisher action figure. Okay, so it came with this weapons platform. So with regards to the second one, we just cut it off, and with regards to the cup, we just so in its shortened version, yep, just cut it off, and the cup, glue it back on. Okay, but there's going to be a subtle difference with this because this is mounted on the backpack that way. So which I also discussed in a previous Footloose video, the first Footloose action figure video that I made. Okay, so in either configuration you could store the ready to fire version or the non-extended version on the backpack. Okay, so the backpack is also a different configured accessory wherein it's on Outback's kit. Yep, so if you know this accessory, the strap, that is from Outback. Okay, so I have the option of storing either an extended version or a non-extended version on the action figure, that way without the inclusion of a kit or a backpack. Okay, and the nice thing about this, the backpack does not interfere with any of the accessories that is already on the action figure. Actually, it slides nicely on the action figure and doesn't provide any form of bulk. It's as if that kit belongs to him. There you go. So still retains that nice sleek feel. Okay, so we already discussed, so 1, 2 and 3. So let's take that off the action figure. Okay, now we're moving on to the helmet. So the base helmet belongs to G.I. Joe Classified series, the first version of Bazooka. Okay, so hence the red helmet, and the red paint I just took it off with acetone solution. Okay, now with regards to the scream, that is a different thing. So let us first take a look at the first scream that I made. Okay, made of soft goods material. This is made of plastic material. So where did that come from? Okay, so it came from this Marvel Legends head unit. Okay, the Fat Thor. Yep, it's actually the hair piece, because the hair piece closely resembles the color match of the camo pattern or the battle dress uniform of the action figure. Okay, so at least that color tone matches with the rest of the color tone on the action figure. Okay, so up close and personal. There you go. So as for the headpiece, so it's going to be the hair. We cut it off with an X-Acto knife, and then the underside we used a X-Acto knife to take off material and softened it up with a hair dryer, and I pressed it on against the helmet so it's going to take shape. But it's not a whole piece that you immediately glue on the helmet of the action figure. I had to cut it in several pieces, so actually 3. Okay, so 1 triangular piece and 2 pieces around the center, and I tried to really glue it as close as possible to each other, so the seam lines won't really show. But still, the seam lines would be visible on this side. So I guess I was just way too tired that I did not press so well. Okay, so there you go. It still shows some more. Anyway, so with just a little bit of green paint to provide green hues or color tone to the screen or the map cover on the Pasgat helmet. So yep, once again utilizing this, which you could buy at Walmart for less than $5. Okay, so there you go, and we added additional green paint on the helmet to provide more contrast and color tone. Okay, now with regards to the rest of the gear, so changes that we made, once again I'm just going to discuss them very briefly. So this used to be on the section, so I just pried it off with my fingers, took off excess material and glued it to the battle belt. So it's going to balance out the number of pouches that is on the battle belt of the action figure, because in its current state, when you take it out of box, much of the weight would be on the right side, not much on the left side. Actually, the left side is going to be bare. Plus, as I have discussed in a previous video, this pouch would always hit the magazine or the spare mag or the fast mag, so it's going to hinder the articulation point on the waist of the action figure. Actually, it would, just as I have said in the first video, it would always push back the battle belt, okay, whenever you play with the action figure. Okay, as for the knife, so the placement of the knife, I changed the configuration. So G.I. Joe Classified Series configuration, knife handle down. My configuration, knife handle up, because those are mag holders. If you have the handle down on this section, it's going to make extracting the spare magazine for the primary business weapon very hard. Okay, magazines are very important in a firefight, not a knife. Okay, a knife in combat or in missions, actually it's more of a utility or a tool. As for a fighting configuration, I think it's going to be the last thing that you're going to resort to if you run out of bullets, but primary use in the field is utility. Okay, so last item is going to be the holster. So once again, as I have discussed in a previous video, we made relief cuts to make the pistol grip of the sidearm more exposed, to make drawing the pistol much more faster. Okay, because the original design, it was just way too close. And we changed the secondary firearm from a action figure that I already have in my collection. Okay, Diamond Select John Wick. So he had extra weapons, especially this Glock 19 like secondary firearm. So this fits well on FootLoose instead of the one that G.I. Joe Classified series gave him, which is very big and bulky, and the business end of the pistol would always poke out. So just imagine if it was an actual thing, the pistol would always run out of battery because the slide would always be pushed back. Okay, so there you go, very simple action figure recipe, not very complicated, something that you could follow to immediately make your G.I. Joe Classified series number 156 into a more retro looking Footloose action figure if you don't like the first or the out of the box experience from G.I. Joe Classified series. So if you like this review, like, comment, and subscribe to help me grow my channel. And see you on the next action figure or custom action figure review.